All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I would love it if I come to this room and hear that you were all short for that CPI, but I'd also be very worried that you were gambling. What a move. Okay, what an absolute monstrous move. We've talked about it the last few days, haven't we? We're in range, we're creating liquidity. In range, we create liquidity, we search for it, we create it, we search for it. Today, we went and destroyed it all. All right, today we went and took all those stops out, all those buyers who have been bidding up this market since that Sunday open. All right, they just got absolutely clapped. The best way of me putting it. All right, so just be cautionary now. Now we're still in a range and we still need to think about where we are. So as always, we are going to do some top-down analysis, right? Let's start on the daily, work our way down, and have a good understanding of where we are at. All right, where we're at. So daily chart, here we go. First thing I want you to note, I talked about it yesterday and it's starting to happen today. These Bollinger Bands are starting to trade inwards. Starting to trade inwards. What does that mean? That means a tightening of a market. What does that mean? That means more and more stops are going to be closer and closer. And at some point, when these Bollinger Bands get really tight, you will get a squeeze on a higher time frame. All right, a squeeze like this, and the Bollinger Bands will open up all like this. Squeeze can be downside, and the Bollinger Bands will open up. But we have built a huge amount of liquidity here this year. Even if you just go back to, so let's just go back to the mean point of this year. Where was January open? Right, so January right here. So this is the January open. This is the high. This is the low of the year. We're probably about 50% of this range. All right, and most of this range has been created here. All right, so we are in squeeze territory. At some point, something is going to give. The market cannot do this forever and ever. All right, your 5-day, 20-day close, Bollinger Bands moving close. I can show you when this has happened previously. When we did this range here, when is this? Back in October. All right, very, very close. Bollinger Bands start to get close together, and then they open up, and we go on a ripper. Right, and you'll see it time and time again. So that's a good indication that at some point, right, when the Bollinger Bands get very, very tight, this is not showing all the contracts because this is on a March, but at some point when the Bollinger Bands get very, very tight, we will go on a squeeze. Let's think about where we are on the daily. We left that double top, all right? Market couldn't get the strength to come and clear out these stops. So we're now hunting into these levels. Now, this starts to become key down here. Monday's open on a daily point of view. Remember, New York Monday opened here. This was Sunday, gap down, right? And we've started to fill that gap. On the ETFs, we have already filled that gap. If I go to the SPY, all right, not a new bar printed yet, but you can see we're down here pre-market, all right? We've already traded under. We've already filled that new week opening gap. And the same thing for QQQ. All right, so it's a very, very key level right now. QQQ on the ETF. Again, trading pre-market right at this low, Friday low. That's the gap. That's where we closed last week. So we've already filled the new week opening gap. Just remember that. On the ETFs, which play in cash, we've already filled the gap. All right, so moving from this to an hourly time frame now. This hourly time frame right here. So again, we're still in the range, right? Here was dip last week, soak, 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 dip into this week's open, soak, failed to make a new high. That is a key thing for me, starting to break down. So if this is a high, lower, lower, low, if we're going to back test this and stay heavy, I would say we're backside of the move in this range. You have to be very, very careful looking for a backside move in the range, because if for some reason they reclaim, then shorts chase the hole. We've seen that here, here, here. You don't want to be a short chasing in the hole. So ideally it gives a back test today, something like this to get short underneath. Maybe it comes higher up to get short. If it just flushes, it's going to be harder and harder to play, but maybe against this for a run of this liquidity. And if they really want to start dropping over the next few sessions, we're going to look for this down here. Remember, it left, all right, relative equal lows down here. here, and on the daily, we can go even further back. There's a lot more down here, right here. All right, so there is liquidity down here into 20,800. I'm not saying it gets there today, but if the market has inflationary pressure and it's a bit worried, that has a chance to get down there. But I will be looking for a back test first. I do not want to short. Remember, we've filled the gap. I don't want to be short at the lows here. I need to see this market push and fail. If it doesn't fail, we have a huge imbalance here, right? This was made in like a minute. I know it's an hourly candle. It was made in like 1 minute. So if it starts to reclaim and shorts get trapped, we go back upside, just like here yesterday in a smaller pattern. All right, and where I'm going to be looking at for all these back tests are where volume used to be. Old point of control, Friday's close. If we get further up into this low from yesterday, this low here, and if we get further up all the way up here, right? But if we start reclaiming this low from yesterday and the New York session, then I think this upside move becomes more probable. So we'd need to stay heavy really against 700-ish. That's a kind of level. So we're either going to stay heavy into 600 or we're going to drift through 600, back test 700. I'd want to see shorts come in here for at least a retest of the lows. I'd be taking a partial there. If we break down under, be holding runners and looking for adds to winners for a bigger move. If we reclaim, all right, if we reclaim and start to base, this will be like yesterday afternoon when we reclaimed and started to base. Shorts got trapped, all right? So the market moves the same way. It doesn't matter what you're looking at. It's the same thing like yesterday afternoon. Let's have a look. This short we took yesterday together on stream, all right? We had this breakdown all the way back in to reprice, all right? If it reclaims, there's the short. It reclaims that short. Short's now stuck. It goes all the way back up to highs, all right? So you cannot just be add. The other thing I'm going to say today is your ATR is likely to be ginormous, all right? It's likely to be massive. We're gapping down huge in this market already, all right? So there are big orders in the tape. There's big players in this market today. I can already see underneath 21,500, 150 lot, 21,487, a 200 lot, and there's more and more underneath as well. And then upside, I can see a 200 lot into just in front of 21,590, and then another 100 lot up at 21,600. All right, so they're already making themselves very clear in this market. Let's have a think what we did overnight. So London Asia was pretty comfortable actually, trading inside yesterday's range. London Asia trading sideways. London sweeps Asia, turns back inside, sweeps the top side of Asia. So like a search and destroy or seek and destroy, whatever you want to call it. It's taking stops out, CPI print at the highs, and then instant flush. All these stops just got absolutely run. All these bulls got taken out of the market, and we reprice all the way down to the open, Sunday's open. That's where we are right now. So this box might be prematurely pink, and I'm very aware of that. I've turned it pink because we've closed underneath it, but if we start to reclaim, I'm going to watch it. I'm also watching some key levels. Let's take this volume off for a little bit. All right, just so we can see what we're doing here. All right, so key levels I'm watching will be the back test of yesterday's low, like we talked about. This box right here would be a back test. If it does this, there's a possible long up to there of yesterday's low. If it just sweeps this and comes inside, it might form a bear flag down here to go lower. And if it reclaims yesterday's low, then we're probably going upside. Previous day point of control and CPI candle high. Right, the red line on the chart is the anchored VWAP. You can see this really nice here on a 1 minute. Right, I've anchored it off the CPI print. So far, sellers are remaining in control. All right, so the anchor VWAP. Let's get rid of all these old anchors. We don't need all these. Make sure that's an anchor, and you are definitely an anchor. All right, so this anchor, red line right here, all right, that's off the CPI print. You can see we found a bounce up to the anchor, bounce up to the anchor, bouncing up to the anchor. So far, sellers are staying in control. If we start getting over this, then there's potential move like this at the open. All right, you can also just sweep these stops. Remember, this is a huge imbalance. There's no way all the sell orders got filled here. It happened very quick, right? Very quick. I can just show you if we take the indicators off. Let's go down to like a 1 second chart. All right, so we dropped in, that is 1 second, from 850 to 665, so almost 200 points. And then the next second, another 100 points. So that happened in 2 seconds. So we know there is no way, all right, there's no way all the institutions managed to get their sell orders in here. All right, so if it wants to come back up there, it can. Just be aware of that. You're wondering why we dropped. I didn't really talk about the CPI. CPI came in hot. All right, it was 0.1% hot. It wasn't crazy hot. It was 0.1% of a hot print, adding inflationary concerns, inflationary pressure. Before that, this morning, when I woke up this morning about 5 a.m. my time, I saw that Trump made a comment saying maybe it's time to start cutting rates as the tariffs would do their jobs. I'm going to remind you something. Technically speaking, the Fed do not answer to Trump. All right, they are independent. They will not make decisions based on him, as long as they're not crooked, that is. All right, so if they think inflationary pressure is like still in this market, if they think the tariffs are going to cause more problems, they will make independent decisions right now. The biggest fear in this market with the tariffs is that we're going to get an increase of price. The increase of price will get felt by the consumers. The consumers will stop spending even more. They're already not spending enough. That will hit the companies. The companies will have less margin to play with, so they do less R&D. They start producing less, and then you get a shrinking economy. And a shrinking economy, on top of inflationary pressure, we go down, right? So that's the risk right now in this economy. That's what the market's waiting to find out. It's far too early to give an actual prediction on that, but that is the headline risk in this market, right? That's what they are concerned about. Having a look across the board then, VIX, all right? VIX, absolute ripper, all right? It closed yesterday at just under 16. The lows of yesterday were 1576. The highs, I mean, technically speaking, was 1640, but in the New York range, we were much, much lower into like the low 16s. We gapped up and ripped, all right? We hit all the way up to 1720, 1718, and we're just holding now in a 5-minute flow zone. So it's trying to hold its gains. If it backtests 1655 to 1640 on the VIX and finds bids there, right, we're going to have increased downside pressure on the market. So I'm going to mark that out on the VIX. That's an interesting level for me. That will keep the gap open. It will fill it a little bit. And if it finds bids there into and around 1650s and the VIX starts moving upside, I think we get more pressure on this market. Remember, like we talked about at the beginning, or we're about to open now, the market has already filled its gap. Now, Mag 7 is all gapping down, but most of it is sitting at very, very important levels right now. All right, most of it's sitting and back testing very, very important levels. So let's just see what we get here. All right, market opening. Here's your anchored VWAP. Here's previous day low. If it can set a squeeze, it will need to do this through this, and this becomes an interesting level if they start to sell into this. All right, I'm just going to let this shake out. I'm not going to short in the hole down here. It's one thing I'm not going to do. Let's give you a readout on the market. Some of it holding very, very impressive. Apple almost flat. Microsoft 1.5% down. Amazon 1% down. Google 1.5% down. Meta 0.75% down. Nvidia 2.75% down. And Tesla finally having a gap up 1% up. So Tesla, relative strength in the market from Tesla. That's got to be a first for at least 2 or 3 weeks by now. Let's get through the chat. Good morning, Marek, Chris, Miguel, Christy, Peter, Crawford, Clint, Thumper, Coop, Jeff, Indicator, Glenn, Leron, Jesse, Vince, TR, Ramus, Array, Trentry81, DJ Noah, BU, Ryan, Mr. Slim. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. All right, so letting this shake out. I'm not in a hurry this morning. Remember, we have already flushed down considerably. We're opening 240 points down on the session. So just going to chill here. Let it do what it wants to do. We're lightly, well, we've already started building some volume down here. So we've been down here for a little while now down here. The next drop zone will be into 440 and then 200s and then 21K. So far, rejecting the anchored VWAP, cannot get a close above it. Just trying to create a bear flag for a breakdown here. I would ideally like a push and a fail this morning. That would be much, much better. Your range is going to be big today. All right, your ATR is going to be big. If squeezes come into this market or big flushes come into market, do not be surprised if they're 100 points or more within 1 minute. All right, do not be surprised. Good morning, Kevin. In Nairobi, amazing. Amazing. Good morning. Right, so liquidity on the book. Remember, we've got Powell talking at 10 again, right? Powell's testifying again at 10 o'clock. I said that a bit earlier. So he might move the market. Depends what he says. Right, so potential for this squeeze up here then. Potential for a move back into here if it can set it. All right, I'm not actually looking for the longs. This is a possible play. It's good range in this. I actually want to see if a short sets up there. That's like where my head's at. If I can get a bounce, squeeze up, and then if it offers a short, if it starts reclaiming up there, then I don't mind flipping my thesis for a long all the way back to previous day close. Remember, here's your gap. We're opening way down there. This is the gap fill if it can do it. If it can do it. And then we've left that CPI print, this white line. Let's make sure it's in the right place. Right at the highs. Let's put a New York Open on here as well. Before I forget. Right here. Oh, wrong one. There we go. All right, so New York Open in. Trying to reclaim anchored VWAP and have a little bit of a drive up right now. Let's have a look at the ETFs here. ETFs again, they closed that gap, right? How they act here is key. Good morning, Steve C. Good morning, everyone. So I favor these shorts today. I would just like a drive up first, right? I would like a drive up, fill some of that imbalance. That would be the most ideal scenario. I don't want to get short in the hole. Somewhere into sort of 21,670, maybe even a little bit above would be great. If we can squeeze all the way up there and buyers chase the market and then it shows some form of failure up there, that would be great. If we can't do that, all right, then I will reassess. If we can't do that, I'll reassess. I'm going to put anchor in off this low. So shorts who chased down here right now, underneath this anchor, starting to get squeezed out. Starting to get squeezed out. Again, a lot of the market was opening up on big RBS levels, right? If you have a look at some of the mag, they were opening up big RBS levels. So I said to my team on Discord, we have to be careful here. You cannot just slam short at the lows. We've already given back a huge amount on the CPI, and it was only 0.1% hot, all right? It's not like it came in a percent hot or something. It's 0.1% hot. That was a big reaction. So driving back up into deep flow zones. Like I said, this pink box here is a little bit iffy. It might be a bit early to call this supply. What I might do is just delete it, just to stop my brain thinking about it too much. So watching QQQ and SPY, they're drifting into their VWAPs right now. They're not too far away. QQQ's getting pretty close to its VWAP and its 20-day mean reversion. All right, NQ not there yet. SPY not there yet. ES not there yet. Remember, we've got a ton of stops right here. How we act here is key. Do we take it out and fail? Or do we take it out, hold, and go? 608, basically. It becomes key. Take 608 out and stays firm. We can go all the way up to this level up here that I'm looking for. If it just takes these stops out and washes, maybe we move back down. Biggest liquidity on the book. I'm going to read them out for you again. Buyers sat down here. 487 and 500. Like 200 lot at 487, 150 lot at 500. Upside, 650. Right, 650. Upside, right here. So he's in front of this level that he might be a long looking to get filled here, unless he's looking to slam short a little bit early. Can this market squeeze up and then offer a short? That's what I'm thinking. I'm looking for something. Let me draw it like this, right? And a retest of this, because then I can get partials on the way down and I can hold runners if it gets weak. If it reclaims everything there, right, I'm not just going to short as we come into it. It's going to have to prove to me that it wants to move lower. I'm starting to flip these flow zones now, starting to reclaim the anchored VWAPs. Remember, I said you cannot get short in the hole down here. You're asking for problems if you do that. Hardest thing on days like today is making your charts look nice, because the range is just so big at the open. So QQQ coming into its 20-day and its VWAP, right? If you're trading the Qs, let's move into 2390. That's its 20-day. Remember, that's a mean reversion. That's your standard deviation, your middle point. Willa, do you? I didn't. Let me have a look at that again. It's not the print I read this morning, unless I completely misread it when I went to walk the dog. Let's have a look. CPI year over year, 3%. Forecast was 2.9. CPI month over month. Oh, here you go, 0.5%. Forecast was 0.3. So 0.2% there. Core CPI. So it's between 0.1 and 0.2% hotter. So you had as 0.5 versus, yeah, between 0.1 and 0.2% hotter. So watching this hourly, I think about a fib right now as well, from that CPI high to our current low. We're into a flag territory. 50% will be that move to backtest previous day low. So I'll move you into here. Sorry, leave you there. From CPI high to the low, we're coming into flag territory. If we can get through into this 50%, that's an interesting level in there. Obviously, we squeeze through that, we're going to go to golden zone, but not in this long right now. It's offering you a good long for that move up, but I'm going to be pretty focused here to see if we can get that short. But here's your long trigger. All right, and it's just squeezing, just trying to get back up into here. If it reprices this, we can go all the way up. It can be just like yesterday. Too many shorts get stuck. I will be looking for some sort of signal if and when we get up there. I'm just very cautious now as we start to reprice everything. The only flow zones you're flipping right now are the 1 minute. So here goes the squeeze. So if you took the long, congratulations, this should be paying you. Just remember, you're counter trend. You're counter trend, so you must be taking some money off the table. You must be paying yourself today if you took this long. Like I said, I'm focused to see if the short sets up. That's what I want to be focused on today, to see if we squeeze and set up the short. If we reclaim, I won't be taking it. Big volume stepping in. That last candle, so probably ran quite a few shorts out the market here. Getting pretty close now, starting to get close towards that previous day low. I really don't want it to stop short here. Lovely BU. Look forward to working with you. I look forward to working with you. Camel market, get squeezing. Don't you stop short here. Don't you stop short here. Up you go. Up you go. The higher, the better right now. Then I can look for that lower high. And if the lower high doesn't come, we're going to think about a move just like yesterday afternoon. If the lower high doesn't come, right, if it does something like this and just builds out here in a flag, this would be like yesterday afternoon. We're going to think about this all the way back up into this, at least for the gap fill, possibly for the CPI high. But ideally, we do something like this. Ideally, for what I'm looking for, but I will adjust if not. Current ATR sitting just under 40 points per 1 minute candle, so still pretty big. Might look small, still pretty big. That's your average for the session. Average since New York Open is probably more like 20, 25 points. Nvidia 1% down now. Meta 0.25% down. Google 0.5% down. Amazon 1.8% down. That one's getting hit a little bit here. Microsoft 0.8% down. Apple 0.45% down. So here's the squeeze. Squeeze continues. This is what we're looking for. So if you're in this long, you look very, very good here. Right, you must be thinking about taking profits, right? This is a squeeze long off the lows into your first area here of liquidity, right? Don't be adding into the top range and get surprised if it flushes all the way down. All right, if it firms up for you, you can always re-add. later. But if you took this squeeze out here, you're looking good. Here's your buy signal, reclaim of anchor VWAPs. Like I said, I'm focused on the short this morning. So the only reason I'm not in this long, I'm focused on a possible short setting up. Ryan, is that M2? This is M1 right now. What you're looking at. Oh, sorry, I left you on the wrong one. I'm really sorry. This is M1 right here. This is M1. We're getting in. Look how thin it gets. I'll move you to a 5-minute. Look how thin the volume is here. All right, so if it can't protect here, it can get up here very, very quickly. I'm looking for a push to fail somewhere in and around here, ideally. QQQ is already through its VWAP. SPY coming up to its VWAP right now. ES has a little way to go. We're coming back to key levels. Coming back to key levels now. And it's a squeeze. Sort of feels stupid that I didn't bother taking that long now. That's might be the easiest trade of the day. What's that already offered? 100 odd points since we talked about it. All right, so into these key levels. All right, into these key levels. Yeah, nice, Peter. It made sense, didn't it? It made sense. We talked about it. It made total sense to come up and drive up into here. It just depends how high. Like, does it start to reclaim? If it starts to reclaim, like I said, I don't mind flipping thesis here. All right, if we're going to go all the way back up to the highs. How long have we got? A new 15-minute and 5-minute bar coming in like 1 minute or so. They're coming into the VWAP. Remember, previous day low, green mark, a little bit of supply here. It gets a bit thin above, I'd say above here really. Above VWAP starts to get thin all the way up into 750. So if it starts to reclaim this, the move to 750 is possible. If it pushes and fails, the rotation back down here is possible. Those are like the two kind of plays right now that I'm considering. You must be paying yourself if you are in this to the long side. Must be paying yourself a little bit of money here. If you are just adding and adding and adding and adding up here, looking for the long to keep squeezing, and it doesn't, you're going to be very upset. It might still go. Look, there's nothing to say it has to stop here. It's just a level of interest for me that I'm looking at. No like signal yet at all. We're just drifting higher, extended from flow zones, getting stuck at VWAP a little bit, previous day low. These are the key areas. If it squeezes through this, then my thesis is off the table, and then we potentially are going to go all the way back to close the gap. Let's see. ES coming to its VWAP right now. SPY is just about through it. QQQ way through it. QQQ very strong. VIX coming down and back testing that level we talked about. All right, so key level here for VIX as well. Does VIX find a bid here? All right, if VIX finds a bid here at previous day high and starts to bounce, the market will start to rotate back down to retest, probably at least into this kind of range here. All right, so if the market comes down into here, all right, hopefully it does this and gets short, and then I'll take some partials, and if it wants to get weak, we go down. If it finds bids, we go all the way up. If it squeezes and holds, we go further up. It's just continuing to range rotate this market. It makes it super hard, like no pullbacks. We talked about it yesterday. Once shorts are trapped, it just tends to go, doesn't it? We talked about the same thing yesterday. So ES into VWAP here, tapping into VWAP right here, right now. Big levels here. Gets very thin above this on the ES. So it gets thin from sort of 690-ish all the way up into 775. All right, so whether they protect this sort of void of liquidity or not will start to be key. So I'm starting to focus in here now. It's very steep here. You can tell it's a squeeze. Short's got stuck yet again. VIX so far not finding a bid on the VIX, but it might come. So watching VWAP here, watching trend, watching ES at VWAP, watching absolutely everything here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a big level. It's a big level. Starting to really focus here. Either offers that fade back in, or it just soaks and traps and goes. So far, it's holding VWAP here on the NQ. Very strong. You can think about, a golden zone and all the way back. Remember, it's very thin above. Let's measure out. Come on, where's my fib? So 61 would take us up to sort of 715, 720 if it's really going to get going. So this becomes key here. Watching this now, does it start to break down and give this flush moment into here? Really here. And then thinking about, does it absorb this and go again? Or does it let go of this and go lower? It's basically the options right now on deck. ES can't get through its VWAP right now. NQ is right on it. It's right on its VWAP right now, the NQ. It's trying to build a flag to go. Still holding. All right, it's holding everything right now. Squeeze is still in place right now. Let's look at this M15. Next level up really is, I guess, into London low, if it's going to hold PDL. ES now starting to get above VWAP. It's like right there or thereabouts. It's a big level. Also a big psych level, 6,050. Huge level here. It will become clear and obvious. If it wants to let go, I will join in for the let go for a move back downside. ES rejecting VWAP here. We'll just let this shake out a little bit longer, and then I'm going to think about attacking this. I know it's going to feel like counter trend since the New York Open. But if you zoom out a little bit, I'm looking for that lower high to be set. All right, I'm looking for a lower high to be set for a move back down into here for a partial and then hold if it's going to let go. That's where my brain's at right now. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. I can't force it. If it builds a flag here, then none of that will play out. We'll probably go more upside. Relative strength here on the Qs this morning for sure. Q's only 0.56% down, ES 0.7% down. So tech trying to find a rebound. Like I said, a lot of the Mag 7 were sitting at big RBS levels. If it holds here and squeezes higher, shorts are off the table, right? Then we have a chance to rotate all the way back up to these levels, all the way up here. This would be gap fill. Previous day point of control, this would be previous day high. So this is also possible right now, like we talked about. Not going to front run this. This will do whatever it wants to do. If enough shorts are caught in the hole again, it's going to basically ruin my thesis, and we're just going to go and go. Which is kind of what the last few days have been like. ES coming up to previous day low here as well. All right, so watching that. SPY not quite there, but ES is getting very close to previous day low here. Yeah, and then Powell in 8 minutes. CC, I've told you exactly what I'm looking for. All right, I've told you exactly what I'm looking for. If you are looking for signals, it means you're not looking to trade. Exactly, and there's a 6-second delay. I've already told you exactly what I'm looking for. I even gave you the long at the open. I said, I'm not going to take it, but this is the long that will set up. So watching ES coming into PDL, right, 6,058-ish. SPY's got a way to go to get up there. So SPY lagging behind the ES here, a bit of like divergence between, how do you say it, between the ETFs and the futures here. Apple not too far away from going green on the day. All right, so Apple close to closing its gap, as is Meta. Everything else a bit further away right now. Book thinning out here, right? Major thin out on the book here. Making sure there's no other news. I've just got Powell coming. Yeah, 61 is a bit higher, isn't it? We had a look. If you go from CPI, that is, I was going from CPI to here, into here, sort of 715-ish, 715, 720, and then we see what's what. This level here now starting to become key. If we do this, if we hold, we just keep going. Like I said, can't front run this. It will be ready when it's ready, and it won't if it isn't. Just keep going if it isn't. Yes, getting very close to that PDL. Remember, we're going to have a new 4-hour and a new hourly bar in 5 minutes. Yes, rejecting previous day low. It didn't actually get there. It just missed it. So a bit of front running into that, coming back to VWAP now, watching to see if it lets go of VWAP or if it soaks to go back to previous day low. If ES lets go, I expect it to come all the way back down towards 6,040. Watching this very carefully right now. Four minutes till that new H1 and H4 candle. This grey box, it's just previous day low, mate. It's just this right here, where buyers came in. That's all it is. Otherwise, we come all the way up here. That's why it's grey and not like dark red. It's just like an area of interest for me rather than like big supply. Yeah, still soaking off VWAP so far. Just trying to create a bull flag on VWAP on the ES. It hasn't quite got to previous day low. It missed it by maybe like 6 ticks or something on the ES. We know this is a key area. We had it marked out. I said what I was looking for. I also said if it reclaims this with a flag, this will be like yesterday afternoon. If it lets go of this, I'm expecting a move back in towards this area, which is also the anchored VWAPs now. I'm going to get rid of that sell VWAP. Don't need that now. Actually, let's just do this and then get rid of it. Does ES build a bull flag on VWAP for the move to previous day low and maybe extend through it, or does it start letting go? Liquidity seems to have thinned out a lot. Those big orders have sort of left the book. Interestingly, those big orders underneath have left the book. So they obviously don't think they're going to get filled down there. They've just completely left. If we don't get the wash I'm looking for, it's going to be a bit hard for me for the rest of the day, I think. Mentally hard to pull the trigger getting long 150 points later. Might be kicking myself that I didn't take the counter trend long first. But hey. So about 40 seconds or so. 50 seconds, 40 seconds till the new H1. Don't like that they're leaving this here. Can easily come and do this, the H1, if it wants, very, very quickly. Might have an injection of liquidity into that 4 hour. Still basing above VWAP here. If this lets go, there will be a fade. I'll be looking for a trade back into sort of these guys right here. And then if it gets heavy underneath that VWAP, I'll be looking for this, and either this or this. So far, it's just basing out really, really well here. Very, very strong holding up here. Here's your new H1, H4. So let's see. Let's see, Mr. H1, H4. Are you going to do it for me? Testing that liquidity there from the buyers. Can it let go here? Yes, back to VWAP. Is it going to let go? Looking a little bit better. Can we get that snap? Here we go. Come on. Don't just dance at this wick. Need it to let go of 50s. If it doesn't let go of 50s, then it can just be a little sweep of, oh, come on, brush, of these guys. I need this move here, really. Looking good. Looking lovely. Looking good. Here we go, team. Here we go. Starting to look for continuation lower now. Beautiful. Want it to stay heavy. Needs to let go of the flow zones, basically, because it's counter trend. Just need pops to fail here. If it starts to soak, then no good. So I need to stay heavy versus VWAP. The only thing that worries me a little bit here is that ES did not close its gap. Getting some good money here already, though. I want pops to fail. I need pops to fail here. There we go. Beautiful. Don't go straight down. I want to get some more size on. I'm very, very cautious here if they build a flag, right? If they do any type of inverted head and shoulders is where I will be cautious here. Right? If they do any kind of thing like this, I will be out. I will not be adding into this if it starts to use liquidity up here. But otherwise, I'm looking for this into and around here. Okay, so you've had 2 trade setups from me this morning. All right, I gave you the long. I told you I wasn't going to take it, and I told you what I'm waiting for, which is starting to play out now. watching the book. Some buyers coming in here at 625. Nothing notable. What I don't like, all right, the one thing I'll say I don't like, that 200 and 100 lot that was on the tape, they've just left. They've completely left the party, and I don't like that. All the time I had them there as a magnet, I felt good about a nice trade, a nice sort of 200 point trade down into them. When they leave the tape like that, it's don't like that, because that much size, they are definitely a fund. Book's really, really thin here. Like the liquidity's just left the book. Biggest order right now is at 22,000. Here we go. More fading coming in. Getting close to those back test levels. Come on. Bit more, bit more, bit more, bit more. Getting very close to that anchor. Watching that. Come on. Nice. A little bit off here in towards the anchor. I don't want to hear anyone saying, like, tell me when to get in. I was so clear all morning what I was looking for. So partial into the anchor. Remember, this is buyers that took control off the low. This is their average price. If we let go of this, rotation. If we pop and fail into here, then I know buyers are trapped here. We can get more size on for rotation lower. But I am covering into the anchor. Look at the reaction of the anchor. Don't know anyone else giving you stuff like this. This is like high level education here. Why am I covering here? Looking for pops to fail now. If pops start absorbing, all right, if pops start to absorb, if we start to go back up, then that inverted head and shoulder is possible, all right? So if they absorb this breakout level, remember, this is basically an RBS level, all right? If they absorb off here and they get back into here and do this, then really I'm expecting higher prices for the rest of the day. All right, you're going to have to bear with me. That coffee's gone straight through me already. All right, thank you, team. I will refill that. So waiting here now. So either if we get trend continuation, we'll build out some form of bear flag for here. If it needs to retest here to check that these buyers are stuck, it will for that lower price. If we reclaim this, then we're thinking longs, right? If we start reclaiming areas up here, we're thinking longs. I'd like some form of bear flag to start building out here, basically. Would be really nice. Looks very thin right now. I'm guessing because they're all watching Powell. But I tell you, up here, up in these levels, I can see some huge volume was traded up here. Huge volume was traded up here. Over 2,000, no, 1, 2, 3, over 3,007, no, even more. 4, 1, 2, 2, 4, 6. 6.5, 7,000 contracts traded. Oh, I'm missing this by talking. So bear flag breakdown now coming down into key levels of support. So I don't know what to say, team. Like I gave you it. This is exactly what I talked about it when we were down here. I'm expecting the market to come back up, test this area. Then I'm looking for some form of failure for a trade back into here. I'm going to be taking a partial here. If we start to fail, I'm looking for a move into here. If we fail this, leg down, leg down. This is all I'm looking for today. All right. Nice straightforward day. I wasn't expecting chop. I was expecting some nice moves, which is what we've already had. So you had the long, if you took the long, and you've had this short. Go through chat, see what you guys are all saying. ASS. So you look at it as one big flag. Yes, Crawford. Think of it like your higher time frame is doing this. It wants to do this. If it gets stuck here, it will try and do this all the way back up. Right? I say it all the time. Do not get too zoomed into the 1 minute chart. All right. I know I execute on a 1 minute chart, but I am looking at hourly and bigger time frame charts all the time. That's what I'm looking at. Watching to see what they do here. Is this the start of a soak, or are they actually going to let this go and start breaking down back towards those lows? It would be really nice if they'd let this go. That last wick is not very nice on that 1 minute candle. So I'm guessing Powell's talking all sorts right now. Definite key level. You can see the anchored VWAP, like we haven't closed beneath it yet. Want to see if we build out some form of bear flag for a continuation. So this is Powell's testimony. Yep, day 2 of his testimony. Peter Curry out of it now. Good work, Peter. It was a nice trade up. Nice, Ryan. Lovely work. Lee Kim, good work. No worries, indicator. You're welcome. You're welcome, Liram. What is the lower bullish, what do you say, bluish band? This is the deep pullback. All right. So when you get a cross between these two, you get like trend continuation. It's a deep pullback. It's based on fibs. It's based on rolling fibs. All right. So when you get things like major crosses and sell signals, you get this move. When you get soaks off here, you get this move. This is a contentious area, and the reason for this is that you have support here and the anchored VWAP. This should move lower, but you have to respect the structure. Technically speaking, if we're going to go lower today, this is the pullback finished on the higher time frame. We should go and attack down here if we're going to move lower today. If they're saying, hey, that's enough, we're staying in the range, we don't want to expand outside the range on the daily and the hourlies, then it's going to be like the last few days and just chop around. But I'm still looking for lower prices. I'm still looking for lower prices. Ideally. But I'm got to respect it here. That lower with touch. Oh, this one? You're talking about this bright blue one? This is the anchor VWAP off the low. Look at this. Come on. Start failing now. Let's go lower day now. Let's go lower day with these runners. Just let go of this wick. It's going to come. I really just want a wash here. I want a violent wash. Come on, market. Come on, market. Buying on the tape here. They're trying to absorb into 75s. I still think we can go lower. It's just whether it's ready or not. Just got to be careful. You don't want to be short in the hole down here. Remember, you're shorting into potential RBS level. I'm still thinking lower prices. Still trying to hold on. See if we can go lower. Yes, let's go. Let's keep digging down. Come on, market. Come on, market. Don't be stingy. Bulls got trapped trying to buy the breakout above VWAP, not understanding that they were at previous day low, they were at key level of supply, they were at the edge of the liquidity that we talked about. This is looking fantastic here now, guys. So if you're still in this short, just pay yourself a little bit, right? Pay yourself a little bit of money, and hopefully we can keep washing down. Looking good here. Looking good here. Yeah, Villy, exactly what Coop said. It's the anchored VWAP off the low set after the news. The low of day currently, it's the anchored VWAP. So where the buyer stepped in, that's the average price. So average price of buyer is here. They're now out of the money, right? Because they started bidding too much up here. So now they're out of the money. So if we stay heavy versus this, we keep rotating. If they reclaim, got to be careful. It's a constant game of liquidity. You'll hear me talk about it all the time. Who's in control? Is no one in control? Do we need to trap someone? Why didn't I want the long up? Okay, it was a good move, but I just didn't want to be the guy participating here because I knew that this move here is a probable move. Big short, first bounce, retest of the low of the range. Let's go of this, continues lower. All right, but this, I know it sounds stupid, like this was a really easy trade for you guys, but it's just because it worked out that way. But this becomes a very obvious trade into here. Right, this should always come back down into here. The only time it doesn't is if we get short, blow up point, right? But this should continue lower from a technical point of view. All right, it's a first bounce this morning session on New York after a big sell. After a first bounce, what we're looking for, a retest of the lows. A retest of the lows. I can go over it really quickly. This is what we've done today. All right, we were here overnight and then we went bang. We don't want to short down here. What do we expect? A retest. That retest was previous day low, right? Peaked over it, trapped some bulls, bang. We expect a retest now, short trigger here into here. From this point here, if you're not short, you wait for a break under and a retest, or if it reclaims, we go all the way back up. It's that simple. It is that simple. If you understand the patterns, if you're not getting zoomed in to the micro time frames, it will be easier for you. Say it every single day. My main focus is the H1 time frame. It's always what I'm looking at. H1 today is looking fantastic. Big sell, reprice up, coming back to test volume area. All right. Big sell, reprice up, coming back down. Fails this, goes lower. All of this, if you go back to the beginning of this session, I told you this whole thing. Expect a long up to here, and I expect a short from there. Literally, before the market even opened, I told you what I was expecting. It's from understanding what the market likes to do. How it likes to get there then is the next thing. So once you know what it wants to do, you've got to think about how is it going to get there. Right, so in chat, I want to see, post me a 1 if you took the long for the move up. Post me a 2 if you took a short for the move down. And then post 1, 2 if you took both. And then post 0 or just don't post at all if you didn't take anything. So 1 if you took the long, 2 if you took the short. So leak in with the short. Wow, lots of you. Wow, I love it. Leak in with the short, Clint with the short, TR with the short. So many of you, I can't keep up here. Array with the short. Coop, you took both. I love it. Chris took both. That's great trading, guys. If you can take both, it's amazing. Miguel took both. Marek took both. Rob P didn't take anything. No worries, Rob. More you're here, the more confident you get. Peter took both. Lovely work. Michelle took the short. KSK with the long. Ryan with the short. Travelers Ambience with the short. Mr. Slim took both. Leron with the short. Glenn with the short. Love it, buddy. Thumper with the short. Jeff with both. Guys, if you took both, it's really, really good trading. Khalees with the short. Indicator with both. SS, no worries. Douglas, no worries. Andrew with the short. Crawford just watching. I remember you saying earlier. Steve C, both. Great trading. Kathy with the short. Doug R with the long. Geordie with both. Trentries. 0, I'm new. That's all right. The more you hear, the more you'll see it. Tyson took both. Lovely work, pal. Jesse just watching. Stephen, both. Vinny with the short. Miguel, that's all right. Scalps is fine, mate. In this market, a scalps is paying a lot of money. All right, so here's the back test of where we were earlier. You've got to be careful here. Ulimar, long, but only got a little bit before getting stopped out. Don't stress about it. All right, so why have you got to be careful here? Because this is your RBS level. RBS, resistance becomes support. It's trying to soak off this. It's now coming to test intraday supply. All right, this is the seller's level. This is where we got short. If it rejects this, we go back down into this. But notice the range is getting smaller. So we had a huge sell, big pump, smaller, 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 smaller. And eventually it will do something. So back to view up here. Notice the volume. Notice the engulfing candles. All right, I don't get short against big volume like this when it steps upside. You wait for a failure if you're thinking about this. But really the best trade, honestly, the best trade so far this session have been and gone. Beautiful trade, beautiful trade. Now we wait. Now we wait. We're right up at VWAP. ES also at VWAP. Remember, the ES and the SPY did not get to previous day low. That's the one thing I'd say. They didn't get to previous day low. QQQ did. All right, NQ did. This green line here is previous day low. We got all the way back to PDL and we failed. ES didn't. ES got to like here, so it might still need to get to there. Again, if we get through here, 1, 2, 3. If we do this, we're going to go gap fill. Right? If it can get through there, we are going to go gap fill. I'm going to respect this supply so far. I'm not thinking long yet. It's going to have to really prove to me to make me want to get long for this move up. Yeah, same Ryan, to be honest. There's the one move I wanted today, and I got it. Right? One good trade, boom. It's how many points is that? 669 into 590s. I mean, it's not bad. 70 odd points. It's not as much as I would have liked, but it's pretty good. It's as good, really, as this on the way up. So you probably got 50, 60, 70 up, 50, 60, 70 down. For those of you who took both sides, it's really good trading. I really struggle. Well, I don't struggle to take both sides, but once I know that this is the setup I'm looking for, I tend, like you've seen today, I tend to like waiting for it and taking it. My brain can just really focus and dial in. What can sometimes happen is if I'm long here, long here, long here, long here, it's then really hard for me mentally to go, okay, take the profit, wait, fail. But it's really good trading if you took it. Peter Curry, I'm definitely done for the day. Got one too many times to the wall, then could ruin your day. Go one too many times to the wall. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, we'll sit here and see what else sets up. Some liquidity starting to come back onto the book again now. It's been a little bit thin for a little bit. Starting to see some liquidity. So we're coming back up to previous day low, back up to where we failed from. If it sets up the inverted head and shoulders, think about how we use that liquidity. All right, this is where we were covering into. If it doesn't do this, right, this yellow line is gap fill. Most of the volume is up here. Above that, you have the CPI wick high. Right, if it really wants to go back there, it can and will. Apple now green on the day. Incredible strength from Apple. It's 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row with the strength from Apple. So what I might just do here is a new anchor just off that. Just off that higher low that we're starting to put in. So intraday, higher low, breaks this, higher high, building liquidity, and go. If it steals it and fails, back to this. Always the same thing over and over and over again. Johnny Boy, if you made money, keep trading a size up big. And give it all back and some. I know you're joking. I know you're joking. No worries, Crawford. Have a good day, mate. Okay, so possible inverted head and shoulders coming up here for a continuation squeeze. Remember, you still got that 61 fib. ES is still looking to come into previous day low. You've got 8 minutes or 7.5 minutes until the initial balance is set. All right, not too long now. So here's your squeeze. And higher it gets, the more probable it looks for that gap fill. God, I'm getting glare this morning. So coming up, testing that lower time frame algo. That pink line, the lower time frame algo. A little bit of a pause there for a moment. It's a big, big level, that. Big, big level, that. ES still didn't break its high here. All right, ES did not break its high, has not come into previous day low yet. A reaction off the algo. So can it build? The question here is, does it build this? All right, it will have to build this. If it comes all the way down here, it could build it there, but it's a little bit more ugly. If you want momentum longs, you really want it to see it use this liquidity now. If you're looking for momentum longs, you want to see it use that liquidity. I would have one eye on ES here of how it reacts into previous day low. Apple looking very, very good. Tesla almost 3% up, or now 3% up on the day. Amazing from Tesla. Apple gone green on the day. Nothing else actually really that close, other than Meta. Meta's not far away from going red to green. Meta's been on a big, big run the last few weeks. Nice, Ryan. Look forward to working with him. There's a squeeze. Whoa! So short's getting absolutely wrecked. So that's what we were saying. It would need to use this liquidity. It did it in 1 minute. Didn't give me a chance to really build out. I was hoping the flow zones would catch up and it would do this for me for the next trade. But there you go. Big old squeeze into the next level. I've got a level here. Yes. Okay. This is into overnight low. All right. We're now trading into London. We just tagged into London. London low. Right here. You gonna let me draw? Apparently not. You gonna let me draw? There we go. London low right here. Let's do that as yellow. So continuing to squeeze. All right, so confirmation of upside right now. One, this was the failure. Cover point to here. They held it. Reclaimed. Only did 1 minute here and then straight back up. ES now through previous day low. So continuing to squeeze. Gap fill all the way up here and through that CPI print high. Looking very, very strong here. Very impressive. Oh, very, very impressive. I would have loved to have grabbed a long there if it just consolidated for a little bit longer in here. Built that flag out to go rather than just a screamer to the upside. Yes, not getting a close above that previous day low. I'm just going to check the news there because that was a big amount of volume. I'm assuming it's just a stop run. Just see if Powell said anything important. Tariffs are a work in progress. Conversation with countries the other day. So there's House speakers talking about tariffs right now. Republicans propose 4.5 trillion in tax cut and a 2 trillion in cuts to mandatory spending over 10 years. They're trying to get rid of that deficit on the budget. Apple exploring both humanoid and non-humanoid robots for the future. That's pretty scary, isn't it? Yeah, most of this seems to be about tax cuts right now. And tariffs. That was the news that hit the wire for that squeeze. Reciprocal tariffs are a work in progress. Conversations with other countries began earlier on Wednesday. We're still in a giant range, all right? We are still in a giant range. I want you to look at the daily. Still in a giant range. Most of the trading, all right, has been done in here for a long time now. Failed to break out of here. Lots of stops up here. Failed to break down here. Lots of stops down here. Still in the range. Rotation continues, right? This market will punish you. If you are late to this market, if you are guessing in this market, it will punish you. So now, same thing really as we were talking about earlier. Either this holds, all right, this becomes an RBS right here. It either holds this for continuation. If it starts failing this, I like it less and less and less and less because every move up so far has been a squeeze up. Right, so it's very, very thin. Look at how these moves up. Boom. It's not like it's doing this. Right, straight up can come straight back down if it can't hold here. But lower time frame is in bullish phase right now. But we did tag the underside of Globex. This is London low right here that we sold into. So there's London traders who were short. They're short here. They're proposing a 4 trillion debt ceiling raise. I didn't see that. Did that just get announced, Peter? I know they wanted to. They talked about about maybe a month ago now having the ability to increase the debt ceiling. I mean, that would be what would that be? Second or third time they've done that? I mean, you got to think. 3 years ago, it was illegal to do that. They had to pass legislation to do that under the Biden administration, and now they're doing it again. It's pretty nuts, isn't it? Imagine going to your bank and your bank being like, "Hey, guys, you owe us $1 million. Well, can you just increase that line of credit? Like, I need a bit more." You go back a few years later, now you owe us $2 million, $3 million. Just increase that line of credit for me. And you're just asking for trouble. Absolutely insane what's going on. Borrow and borrow and borrow. It's the first announcement. All right. Yeah. Where's the tax cut going to come from? $1 trillion. The thing is, even if that's true, Lee Kim, $1 trillion is nothing when you're almost 38 trillion in debt. It's nothing. It's not going to move the needle. It's not going to move the needle at all. That's just the reality of it. Like, it's not going to move the needle. Yeah, got to start somewhere, but like I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is to lever one thing by, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but this is like the rhetoric coming from the news. Oh, they're going to save this much. Okay, great. But if you're saving that much, but you're still spending more than that, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Like they've got to do. I don't know. I don't know what to say. They're just in trouble. Like they've just spent too much. It's as simple as that. It's going to take many, 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 many years to fix. Okay, so still trying to hold this RBS level. This is your RBS level, right here. Still trying to hold this for a continuation higher for that gap fill right now. That's what it's trying to do. It's trying to create a flag here for this move. If it fails this, it's pretty thin here. Can be a quick flush down, and then we have to see how we act in there. Could argue also that this is a 2-leg pullback now. Could argue 1, 2. We keep failing in here. How we act here. But so far, bullish in this session. Having just a little scan around. VIX. Wow, VIX closed the gap. I didn't even see that until now. Amazing. ES did get to previous day low. SPY missed it by like a tick. It interesting here. It's a key moment here. Do they break down and do that roll, or do they hold this and go higher? Very, very key moment here in the market. It's on a big, big level here, but we did just reject London low. Most of the volume in this session now traded at 675-ish. Yeah, exactly, Peter. It was a fib, and it was everything. It was golden zone, and it was also London low. So these guys here, they were just able, if they were a buyer, they were just able to get out break even. So lots of confluence in there. Starting to build a bit of a channel here in general. Let's have a little look. Yeah, parallel channel here so far in the session. Buyers definitely in full control here right now. Remember, if you're buying here, though, you're buying high. You're buying in the volume imbalance. We talked about this earlier. It gets thin where we are right now. All right, so it gets thin from here up to 790. So that either they protect this where it's very, very thin. You can see it right here. All right, from the CPI print. See this? This is where it's thin. All right, from here to here. So either they protect this and come back to where volume is, or they trade through it up to previous day point of control. As you can notice, I am chilling out right now. That one trade was all I needed. It's all I needed. So I'm just waiting now. So far, that RBS is holding up. What I don't like is how high we are in the session. There's a good chance of further rotation lower if it wants to let go. Initial balance now printed. Yeah, those purple lines. Having a look at liquidity on the book. Biggest order on the book's up at 22k. And he's looking for a short squeeze all the way up. And if it triggers enough, it will do it. I'm going to delete this now. I don't feel like we need this now. So initial balance rules will apply. Either failed auction, rotation, VWAPs, auction, maybe complete the gap fill. If it gets through there, you're looking at that CPI print high. Right? CPI print high all the way up here, 850s. Right. So gap fill will be to 785. Lots of volume there from yesterday, and then CPI print high. I'll check that volume. If I got that right, it seems a bit low. Monday, Tuesday, I have. That's all right. So yeah, just waiting now. Waiting for something clear. Drifting higher right now. Short's getting squeezed right now. If and when it's ready, it might offer another trade setup. Really, you've had two great trades already today. Two really good trades already today. Lots of you made money with me this morning. That's all that matters. Literally, that is all that matters. I want to see you all make money. If you enjoyed the stream, please hit that subscribe button. If you want to support the stream, you can use one of my codes. Yeah, if you want to support this stream, you can use one of the codes. So if you use Traderify, my favorite prop firm, use code FCT. You can do the course if you want, one-time fee, link down below. You get the flow zone indicators, 20-hour course, and the Discord. So the Discord and indicators all chucked in there for free, one-time fee. You can always become a member of the stream on YouTube. I think it's like $5 or something. It just supports the stream. It helps me make content. lets me know that it's worthwhile. We are really starting to cook on this stream now. We're starting to grow at a nice, decent rate, which is fantastic. If you want to share this stream with your friends, I'm here Monday to Friday, pre-market. We do top-down analysis. I don't know many people that literally go through the market properly. It's amazing. I've watched a few streams to do some research over the last year. Most do not zoom out and do not give any top-down analysis. It is amazing to me that they are willing to trade off just an open print on a 1 minute. What's up, small cap? Hope you're doing good there, my friend. Do you still trade small caps? I saw yesterday my dad's had a bit of a blow up. Lost, I think it was about 360 grand. He was in the hole yesterday. There was some, I can't remember the ticker. There was some ticker yesterday that caught everyone off guard because I think Interactive and a few others, that was it, AIFF. Yeah, from what I read, a few of the brokers had the wrong daily charts on it. Maybe didn't include reverse splits or whatever. So continuation higher. Everyone's getting squeezed out here. This is, wow. This is gap fill, all right? This is gap fill up here, the yellow line. So we're just continuing to squeeze higher right now. Buyers are in control like we talked about. We held the RBS level. All right, pullback, RBS, drive, pullback, RBS, gap fill into here. Don't be chasing this. This might very well want to go through the gap now, through previous day, all the way up here. I've probably missed the buying opportunity off flow zones here. This is probably very, very nice. Getting caught talking, but it's because I've had a good day. And then at that point, I kind of relax off. What was I saying? Yeah. AIFF. Apparently, some of the brokers were printing incorrect like daily highs and daily wicks and daily closes. So people were coming in short on pops at levels which weren't even supply, or at least that's what I read. Crazy game. Probably a micro float, I'm sure, especially if they've done a reverse split. Phoenix AVS, hello, mate. Hello, mate. So your initial balance rules apply here. This purple line is initial balance. This is the London range you're in now. You're starting to reclaim the London range. If it's going to go to the highs of Asia and London, it's going to go to that CPI print all the way up here. Right, this is CPI, this is gap fill. This is where volume is. This is like a big, big level. All right, if it does that, it's close the gap. Gets through that, it's going to take CPI. If it gets through that, honestly, I would hate to be a short at that point. Like, yes, and SPY with a little bit longer to go. Meta now green on the day, red to green on the day. Apple on a bit of a tear here. 0.75% up. Please explain the IB rules, not IBB, initial balance rules. Right, so if we hold above initial balance, we have trend days. If we trade inside initial balance, we normally trade from IB to a VWAP, all right? And if we fail that, we go back to the IB low, right? So this would be a range rotation day. So failures above initial balance trap buyers, all right? So if we come up here and we fail and we get stuck here, we rotate. A good example of that is yesterday. Where is yesterday? Okay, yesterday, we took this on stream together. Here's your failed auction above the initial balance. They get stuck. Buyers are trapped up here. So we sell against it and we rotate to VWAP, bear flag, back down towards IB low. From here, reclaim VWAP, retest VWAP, back to IB high. Rinse and repeat. Fails the IB high, all the way back to VWAP. So it just depends what market we're in. We are still in a range rotating market. I know it's hard to believe given the range in this session, but look at the daily. All right, we're still in a range rotating market. So far, the daily's basically given a failed breakout of previous day low. Shorts versus previous day low. Remember, that's where we were looking for that short back down. We covered here because we're smart. Now it's holding this. This is inside. This is an inside bar area. This is a failed auction on a daily, not on initial balance, on a daily, failing to stay heavy underneath previous day low right now. All right, so you will have shorts come in here, breakout trader shorts. They added back in here with us. Now they're getting squeezed out. On daily time frames, I'm talking about. No worries, Rob. Yeah, hopefully lots of you got that long. It was nice, wasn't it? Squeeze back up into the higher time frame algo. And then you've got this right here. This is a big level up here. I expect it to come up here. Now it's that close to the gap fill. It should just go and do it. Let me just check that the Qs haven't done it. Yeah, Qs have got a bit longer to go. SPY's got a lot longer to go. So Tesla over 3% up now. The Qs will want to do the gap fill. I'm not convinced the spiders will do it. Let's have a look at FinViz. I'm guessing we're weak across the board. Yeah, we are. So let's have a look. You can tell what I've been buying recently. Right. Let's move this across. Can you guys see that? All right, we're weak across the board. So financials, which are included in the spiders, in the SPY and ES, and are not included in the NQ, all right? Red on the session. So tech, a little bit better, all right? Apple looking good, Palantir looking good, Microsoft starting to claw back, Tesla looking good, healthcare as well, bit of a mixed bag in there. So that's why you've got NQ relative strength, just off tech. Financials weak today. Financials are weak today. You've got this trendline liquidity starting to build here. I'd be very, very careful. Failed breakout here. Rotation IB possible. Back to VWAP. How we act at previous day low is going to be key for the sentiment of the rest of the session now, I would say. So either failed auction here. Thing is, we haven't filled the gap. If we failed the auction, we should come back down to VWAP and this level here, maybe sweep out these stops. It's starting to look probable. If we hold and reclaim, we're going to go gap fill, previous day, point of control, and then all the way up here, CPI. This is starting to build that sort of trendline liquidity that you don't want to see if you're a bull. Right, so traps will live under here. So traps will live under here, and then if they reclaim, we go higher. If they trap and fail to reclaim, we go back down lower. Right, this level here is going to be very, very important. This is very similar to the last 2, 3, 4 sessions we've had on stream. This is buyers stops. All right, once we sweep that, we either come back inside and we go for the gap fill. If we stay heavy versus that, there is a rotation. This initial balance is going to be key here. Really, I'd expect this market to try and do a gap fill, but the question is, if too many buyers got caught up there, if not enough shorts are trapped now, if we've already blown out all the shorts, how are we going to move higher? The only way we move higher is by having more shorts in the market. Breakout shorts in the market, reclaim, then we can use them for a squeeze higher. Hopefully that makes sense. Exactly what we've looked at the last few days. It's the same thought process over and over again. To move higher, shorts need to be caught offside. Lots of possibilities right now. Lots and lots of possibilities. ES right at its IB. This is looking like it's starting to break down here. All right, so does it trap shorts underneath that double bottom? Here's your anchored VWAP off the most recent pivot, off this pivot. All right, so buyers from here, their average price is here. The trap will be under here. It would need to move down and reprice back upside, remember. If it's doing this, that's not a trap, all right? That's bulls now stuck for a failed auction and a rollover. I know there's lots of drawings on here today, but unfortunately, we're moving through levels very, very quick. So this will be key level right here. Do me a favor, at least half of you on stream have not hit that like button. All right, smash that like button. Please hit that like button. Share the stream with some friends. It's completely free. It's not costing you a thing to do it. Most of you have at least one good trade today. All right, there's been 2 very good ones, 1 decent one here that some of you took. push, pull, push, go. Back into the anchor now. Remember, this white line is where those buyers' stops live, all right? And everyone who's a bull and joining late, that's where their stops are. That's where shorts can get trapped if it goes underneath and then reclaims back upside. If it stays heavy versus that, we have to see what's what. Remember that normal play is initial balance down to VWAP right here. For a failed auction, I'm talking about. See what we get here. Can we get a gap fill? Can we get failed auction? Can we get a trap? I'm watching this. I'm watching for this. I'm watching for this. These are all still possible. We fill the gap. By this point, honestly, I think we're just going to go CPI high if we fill the gap. I would like to see shorts trapped in this market to feel confident about a move higher. This can still be a reprice to go lower. Think about this on a slightly higher time frame. Into some key liquidity here. If it starts to fail, this happens. If it washes and claims, this happens. These are the two plays. There's always two plays setting up. There's always an if or. If you can't see the if or, you will become overly biased one direction. So how we act here is key. This white line, we get this auction, might come down, scoop here. If it reclaims in this, we go upside. If it stays heavy under here, there's downside pressure coming into the market. We have not filled the gap yet, interestingly. I'm going to look at the tape here just to see what's in it. So there's those stops taken. Let this shake out, see the reaction. We've got a new candle coming, a new H1 candle coming in 10 minutes. So will this be the trap? Did they just collect all those bulls to go higher? Yeah, but it's just placing your edge in it, isn't it? So once they start to play out, loan accounts, then you can start leaning on one side more. All right, so now we've just swept these guys. So if we start to reclaim, we're thinking, okay, this is more probable for upside. If we stay heavy under here, I'm not thinking about any upside. But this now has just swept these stops that we were just talking about. If it stays heavy under there, I'm thinking about rotation. If it continues to hold this, especially I want to see volume step in, we can think about what's next. Still got Powell talking. ES back to previous day low again here. Right, if we get closures under here, I'm thinking about this. Into here, into this liquidity pool here. And if it fails that, lower. All the time we're holding up the here, I'm not thinking about shorts. All the time we're holding up here, I'm not thinking about shorts. If this bear flags, it's a whole different thing. It's good that you understand the two scenarios, though, because most will just get overly fixed on like selling in a hole. Like, oh, we're bearish, I'm going to sell. Oh, what happened? I'm going to keep selling. I'm going to keep selling. I'm going to keep, and I blew up. Yeah, because they can't see the scenario that the market needs to go up before it comes back down and retests. This point, we could have done that, but we didn't. So we get out, it go up again. This is looking more and more like a possible squeeze here. It's just, unfortunately, the initial balance is above us here, watching ES. We got here on a 5-minute. I don't want to let this hourly close out. ES actually failed right on its 20-day as well. It completed that mean reversion on the daily, right to its center point. Yulimar, then trade with one that doesn't have a trailing drawdown. Yeah, you don't have to trade with ones with trailing drawdown. Yeah, possibly, Jesse. It all depends on this initial balance. It's possible, but we've just swept this liquidity. So it would need to put a failure in here, and I'd feel better about it under this rather than guessing this, because this can keep going. Right, lots of people will be playing for that. This can keep going if it wants to. But we are technically underneath this. So technically, it's a cheap short from a technical point of view, but structure-wise, the fact that we've just swept, a little bit naughty. Little bit naughty. Yeah, volume's disappearing altogether right now. There are sellers on the book, but they're not huge. 750, 65 lot, 21,873 lot. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, exactly, Tyson. It really needs to base. Market's a little bit in no man's land, like, and you've got split across the mag now. So Apple's 0.75% up, Meta's 0.25% up, Tesla's about just under 3% up, but Nvidia's 1% down, Google's 1% down, Amazon's 1% down, Microsoft just under 1% down. They're not like all in agreement driving the same direction. VIX is inside its initial balance near its IB low, finding a bounce on previous day close right now, but it doesn't look like it wants to aggressively move higher right now. Remember, we've had some good trades and you've got a new hourly bar coming. The only thing I'd say is we just swept that and came inside. This can be bullish. If shorts chase this here, remember we're above the anchored VWAP. We're above VWAP. We're above this anchored VWAP. We just swept this and closed inside. And if it produces a lower high here, remember confirmation will be a lower low. There's nothing in here to say it's a short yet. Yeah, you'd be guessing, hoping that this is a lower high. But this is the confirmation. This is early. This is confirmation. This can just be sweep and go higher if it wants to. And this is where, if everyone attacks it and they keep stopping out, it will drift higher. This is where it will happen. There's lots of like things not really lining up. Like this tells me bullish. This tells me bullish. This technically should be a range and bearish until it proves above. And there is key levels to go for. So until I have like good alignment, I'm not pulling the trigger on anything. Yeah, if you can time squeeze pressure, definitely you'll rarely have drawdown because you'll be playing momentum. You'll be playing momentum. So if you took that, like if you took, for example, return back inside here and you only risked this, you're already up. What's that, like 30 points or so? Like we talked about, they can trap under here, come and collect these stops and go back upside, which is what they've just done. We talked about that when we were here. I was saying it's very likely to come and take these guys out before going back up. How it acts into here, though, is key. Right, London low, initial balance. So the problem is how we're building now. There's lots of different traders trading different things. London traders are trying to get out break even and short. Initial balance traders want to short against this. Longs took the longs here, smart longs, against this for shorts trapped and are looking to close the gap and get back up to the CPI highs. So you've got traders trading against each other right now. Lots of different setups. General urges to front run the moves. Yeah, so you're up 580, mate. Like, I think you played the long and the short. Do you need to give back? You know, do you need to give back? This looks pretty bullish to me so far. Nothing in here saying it's a short. The only thing that's suggesting it's a short is the initial balance, and that's not enough for me. You could take it and risk the IB. Yeah, so you could take it and risk the IB if you wanted like a cheap short, but structure-wise, it's not telling me it's a short. If it breaks down, it will be obvious. If it breaks down, it will be obvious. But right now, just zoom out. Long, short, held. Long, retraced, held. Long, sweep, held. Can keep doing this. Target, 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 through that, target. Right, this will trigger, this will be nasty if it gets up here. I can't imagine how many shorts added into this who might have been swing short the last few sessions. Imagine you were short here and short up here, and you added heavily into CPI because you're like, that's a hot print. If it comes up here, oh my gosh, like you've got swing shorts now getting wrecked if it can get up there. Your location for buying right now is not ideal. Not ideal. We are in the golden zone. Here to here. There's the reason we keep failing up here, but I'd rather take the continuation when it proves. I'm not going to guess the top in this market. Everyone who's been guessing the tops in this market has been getting wrecked. Everyone who's been shorting the lows has been getting wrecked as well. Just going to let it. It will just have to really, really warrant another trade for me. We have excess above it for sure. But it needs to do this for me to really think, yeah, okay. Because this produced this high. We didn't close beneath this, right? So this is our internal range right now. Can do this. Until it does this, I'm not thinking about that short. Yeah, I see them, Miguel. And then a bit more up at 800. A patient game. Remember, we are always snipers in the market. You had 2, if not 3 good trades this morning. If you joined me from the beginning of the stream, you had the long setup with the buy signal for that move up to here. Right, at this point, I said I'm thinking about the short. We broke down. We had the short back down to here. There's your 2 setups. If you took this squeeze long, great, but the next long really was here. Boom, boom, boom. There's your long setup. So your 3 potential setups on the day that we talked about. Do you need more than that? Here's the new hourly bar now. All right, so I'm watching this hourly bar. I'm watching the old hourly bar high, and I'm watching where volume's been created on the day. How we act in this hourly bar is going to be key. Going to be key. Move this down, get that right. There. So big selling coming into the start of this hourly candle. Still protecting previous day low. Take care, Peter. I thought you were already gone. Take care, my friend. See you tomorrow. Next coffee's gone through me. I will be right back. All right. No position here for me. Still looks good for upside in my opinion. I know we're under the IB, but it just feels like it wants to drift higher here. Like that can change very, very quickly. And it doesn't mean I'm initiating along, but the fact that that new hourly opened with a big move down and absorbed, right? The new hourly did this and absorbed. This is the old hourly high. If we break down here for a quasi, we can think about something, but it's going to be tricky because of how we've built the liquidity on the way up. It's almost like one I want to attack a little bit later. It needs to let go of all of this for me to be convinced about attacking it, because I think this can just keep trapping more shorts. It needs to stay heavy under here for me to really be convinced that this market wants to rotate lower. It's not shown a willingness so far this morning to rotate lower, really. That can change very, very quickly, especially on a news event, of course. Current hourly low is right here of this current hour, 710. Volume, most of the volume in the day is traded down into 645-ish. There's nothing in this right now. I'm not willing to long high of day, and I'm not willing to guess this short here on the right shoulder. I'm just not willing to do it. Yeah, nice, Blake. All money's good, right? If you can make money sitting in front of your computer watching a chart, then, you know, it's not just about the money. It's the flexibility that brings with you. You can live anywhere in the world and do this. Skills I teach on this channel are not just for NQ. This is how the market moves. Creates liquidity, searches for liquidity, builds liquidity, uses liquidity. It's what the market does. Doesn't matter if you're trading crypto, small caps, large caps, copper, wheat, coffee beans, which are going mental right now. Are they still attacking? I haven't actually looked. Let's have a look. I think it's K. Here we go. They did a big breakout last week. Look at that. Jesus flipping hell. So coffee and a huge breakout this year. Big, big move. All right, so you could probably just do a fib. All right, so that's where it wants to drift all the way up into 450 right now on coffee. Anyway, doesn't matter what you're looking at. My point is, it's the same thing. Doesn't matter what ticker you're looking at. All relative. Tyson, I'd be ecstatic with 500 today. Look, $500 a day is a lot of money. Don't get like drawn into getting money dysmorphia, right, by looking at other people. That's $10,000 a month. That's $120,000 a year. All right, $500 a day. And also, if you've done it in the first hour, I think about what you could do that money. You could be setting up another business. Maybe you go to work afterwards. There's lots of other things you can do. So this is still absorbing here. Trading sideways. Ranges started to tighten. ATRs died down a little bit. Something will happen at some point when this is ready. ES, though, is trying to make lower lows and lower highs. There's divergence in this market right now. Meta looking like it might have gone red to green, green to red soon. Still underneath the IB. The IB play is still technically holding up. Just going to delete that. Yeah, but 200 is also good. $50 a day is good. You know, all of this is good. It's a skill you will have for life. Just focus on the process. ES starting to roll over here. All right, coming back to a big level here on ES. I'm wondering if this market might break down now. Does ES want to do that rotation from IB to VWAP? That's a question I've got right now. I'm starting to really, really watch this carefully. Looks like it. Looks like that IB rotation is about to happen. We have these wicks down here. I'm just going to clean this chart up a little bit, all right? We have these wicks down here that is still, it only took it by one tick. This is still a key level. ES coming right into VWAP. This is where support is on ES. This is an RBS level on the ES. We're into the deep flow zones now on the NQ. Sort of around that neckline. Not a huge amount of liquidity lower, which is, I'd love to see those big buyers like way, way lower down. I'd feel confident. ES very, very close to VWAP. VWAP on the ES is at 51, so you might as well call it 6,050, like that whole number. So it's pretty much, the ES pretty much completed its IB high. Looks much better on ES, but it completed its IB high to VWAP. Nice, Christy. Great work. Great work. Calypso, no worries. Your Name is one of my favorite house tunes. I used to have an edit of that tune. You can look it up if you want. Big tune. Big level here. You can see it's a big level here. It's kind of like a neckline, right? So they can trap under and go upside. We've already wicked under it once. Still just waiting, stalking this market right now. Nothing I absolutely love yet. Pretty much to the midpoint if we think about this. No closure outside of this uptrend right now. If we start to fail that last level into 613s, maybe there's some downside pressure. ES not quite to VWAP. It got very, very close. A little bit of front running, a little bit of covering in front of VWAP would be my guess there. It's a big level though. Not just from a VWAP point of view, but also just from like looking left. It's an old RBS level. We're going to get weak here. I'm going to join. We're going to hold. I'm not going to touch it. I'll wait to see what we do at the IB high. Things can happen very, very quickly here. Remember, we haven't filled the gap. Does this market get weak? Is this going to be a micro bear flag? How do we act at this key level? Do we do something like this, or do we do this for the dance back up? Could be a 2-try. There's lots of options right now. This will be key. IB high in this level will be key. Definitely a bit of front running there on buyers coming in front of VWAP there. Seller at 750 still on the tape. Didn't even quite get to point of control either. Might drift into, let's call it 75 POC. So really, there's a good chance we come to VWAP here if it needs to backtest some volume and the old hourly open, if. Might not need to. Watching the bear flag here. Watching in case we break down, starting to add some into this. Being very, very aggressive here, taking some partials straight away in case we do a trap. Looking very good. How far can we wash? Can we get down to the VWAP and below? So being very, very careful. Any reclaim here, I do not want to see a reclaim here. This needs to come here and here in a hurry, all right? That's why I'm being very, very aggressive. Do not want to see reclaim. It does not want to get above here. Looking good here, folks. ES now at VWAP, looking good. Just had to wait for that bear flag to play out. Taking partial in front of VWAP and previous day low. All right, so key level here. ES can trade all the way down to 45s. What did I say? We're going to trade down to 75. So here's 75s right here, right now. More partials into this. This is volume. If we start letting go here, it will be critical. Watching careful. Don't want any reclaims here. Come on. This is old point of control. If we're going to wash, it'll be fantastic. Don't want any reclaim of VWAP. Just want straight downside. Here's VWAP. Okay, so out here, can always reattack it. So we traded back into point of control and VWAP. And if it pops and fails, fantastic. Well, think about it. This is just counter trend right now. Why was I covering there? Point of control. It's where all the volume was and the VWAP. What I'm cautious about, right, is that this was a trade for a breakdown. I do not want to see this, and VWAP will be key, as will point of control for that. Hopefully it just keeps bleeding and I can get a bounce to short. Watching these VWAPs, watching this level here, right? We know buys came in here, right? We know that, so I'm going to respect that. If it can offer me a trade to get back in to short into that level, I'm going to respect it. If they start to get stuck, I'm going to think about that deeper wash. This here needs to stay heavy, right? This blue level here basically needs to stay heavy, that white line. If it doesn't, I do not like it to the short side. Watching ES as well into its VWAP. I want to see flow zones, everything start flipping. Notice I got short and then it went into the sell signal there. So that bear flag. We've got to be careful of a reclaim up here. You must be careful of a reclaim. Watching a new bear flag form. Looking for a new bear flag to form. Any reclaim, no bueno. Any reclaim, no bueno. ES cannot reclaim its VWAP here. ES is struggling. Will the NQ follow? That's the thing. Remember, we have relative strength in the Qs today. Need a pop to fail. We need a pop to fail. That's what we're looking for. Pops to fail. For a bear flag to build out. Do not want to get short in the hole down here. Again, we've had a decent move down here. And we get a pop to fail. Lots of guys on the tape here. 662, 650s. They want to get filled down there. Watching this carefully. I don't really want to attack it down here. I really want to drive higher first. Really looking for some drive higher to then see a failure. I want this to clear out 77s, to be honest. Can we go up to come down? Can we go up to then offer this? Looking for something into here. Even if it drives and fails there, and then I come back in for the bear flag back down is better. But I need to see that these buyers are stuck. I want to see them get out break even. So I'm not going to attack it. If we get through it, I'm definitely not attacking it short side. Right? Because if we get through it, we do this kind of look. Right? So I need to see them stay heavy versus this, and then I'll think about a new short position. What's the time? I've got plenty of time until lunch. Just checking that time period. Yep, that, and if you look at VWAP on ES, also critical. VIX having a nice spike here. All right, VIX starting to drift upside, which is great. So watching how we react here. Watching how we react here. Do sellers come back in on the tape? If we absorb and go higher, obviously there's absolutely no short. All right, we need to see a bear flag form versus that level where those buyers got stuck, where the flow zones are. You need some form of bear flag, some form of failure in here for this. If they reclaim this, do not short it. If we start doing this, you will get trapped. This was a good breakdown already. Remember, we've already achieved IB high to VWAP. We've just done it. Right? So that trade actually ended up playing out. It wasn't a trade I was willing to take, but if you took like this, risking this to here, plays out every bloody day, doesn't it? But I didn't like the structure at this point for that move. It felt very bullish. But once it started to fail, felt better for that rotation. It's just about patience right now. ES trading back towards VWAP. Remember that sort of 50 level, 50, 51 key on the ES. In the market here, watching to see if VIX can hold above previous day high. Lots of big levels here, team. Remember, we've had 3 or 4 nice trades today now. You do not need to force it. Do not force your way into the market. If you don't feel comfortable, you shouldn't be taking a trade. Know the setups. Understand what your risk is right now. What are you looking at? I'm looking for a bear flag right now, continuation lower. That's what I'm looking for. This is potentially the start of it. They can start to sell aggressively here. This is what I'm looking for. They need to let go of previous day low and VWAP. These green lines on your screen. I want a bear flag and a breakdown through that. I want drives up to fail. I'm not going to enter prematurely. Looking at the bid here, just seeing who's supporting this right now. It's not a whole lot of volume here in terms of numbers on the tape. We're looking at like 20 lots, 25 lots at 660, 650, 30 lot at 687 above, 17 lot at 700. It's not like there's a big draw in terms of size on the tape. I'm just talking about size on the tape. ES is stuck underneath VWAP. SPY is right at VWAP. QQQ is above VWAP. NQ is above VWAP. Just let this play out. Again, it needs pops to fail. And we either have momentum come back in our side or the trap will form and we will not be taking the short. And at that point, you could think about the long, but I probably won't, just given the time of day, even though there's a potential draw for the gap fill. Just given the time of day, I'll probably just bug out. If this doesn't set up the short that I want, I'll probably just at least get off for a few hours, right? Give myself a break. It's still raining outside here in Los Angeles. I walked my dog at 5 a.m. in the pitch black this morning in the rain. It was not fun. So she will want to go out again soon. The key levels here coming up. You can see the flow zones, where we failed from. This block here is where we failed from. They need this to happen. If they reclaim this, squeeze potential for upside, right? Can hear my belly rumbling. Sorry. So loud on stream. ES looks, prefer the look of ES here over the Qs, just in how it's shaping up here underneath VWAP. Still think this can move lower if the ES is willing to let go, if NQ is willing to let go of these lows here, looking a little bit better. Looking for this bear flag to form. We're right on point of control. This is where all the volume has been traded today. It's like, it's not ideal here, but if we let go of it, then we're looking good. Here we go. Here we go, team. Let's flip and go. All right, let's let go now. Come on. Come on. Fantastic. Fantastic. Let's go lower. Let's come and clean this guy out at 660. Buyers on the tape 650s. And then a little bit of room. Look how good ES looks. That bear flag on ES was magnificent. Probably should be short on ES today. Relative weakness over there. Really nice trade. So you're looking for a trade back into here and into here. Let's just extend this out before I forget. All right, don't get too short in the hole down here. All right, your bear flag starting to break down. Should be taking some covers into this. If it stays weak, we're going to go lower all day long. That would be really fun. And just be sensible. We're coming into the bottom end of this range here right now. All right. This guy here, we're in a parallel channel this morning trading upside. Make sure you paid yourself a bit. Yeah, I saw SMCI had a gap up today on earnings. I think it was on earnings. Was that driving everything higher? Whoa, giving back that gap, isn't it? Jeez. I think it's been wrecked recently. What a fall from grace. Big level here, though, on SMCI. You can get back above it. Lots of bag holders in this, I guess. So starting to reclaim. Make sure you paid yourself a bit. Am I on the right channel? Nope. 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 There we go. Remember, same thing applies. Reclaims, no good. You have to pay yourself a little bit. See how aggressive this is? You have to pay yourself a little bit. If it stays heavy and breaks down under here, fantastic. If it reclaims this area, you need to be risk off. Back to VWAP. Problem is, right, ES is trading into basically the blue box that we're talking about. ES is already into here. So ES has put like a wick into here and soaked off into here, sorry. So just structure-wise, just be careful. That's what I'm saying. ES has relative weakness. It looked very, very good for that bear flag down, and it came right down into where it should go. Versus 50. All right, so ES stayed heavy versus 50. We are starting to let go here. How low can we go? Yes, we'll need a new break lower here, but we are trading into possible demand on the ES, but we look pretty heavy in how it's attacking it, I would say, is the best way of me putting that into words. Here we go. So starting to break lower. Into that anchored VWAP now. This is average buyer's price since the low of the CPI. All right, so if they start getting hammered here, we can start moving lower. We're looking for covers into this, and then if we can get into that blue box, it would be ideal. All right, so notice they are soaking again off this guy. Remember, this guy is off the lows of day. If we get through him, we're looking for covers into this guy here. If we get through that, we're looking for a rotation into New York Open and the IB low. So if you took the time to stick around with me today, you've had some nice trades. ES so weak here. Right, ES is dragging the market down. Probably healthcare and financials dragging the market down, which is great. You're looking good here, team. You're looking really, really, really good. Break below, retested that level, stayed heavy, never reclaimed, into anchor. All right, make sure you're paying yourself. Let go of this, pay yourself into here, then we can reassess. Can still form a higher low here. It's one thing I would say. That's why you have to pay yourself. It can still form a higher low in this. If you think about this leg, this is probably a golden zone retracement. If we go here to here, this would be a golden zone retracement in here. So you have to pay yourself. If it starts letting go of that, we just get continuation low. It'd be really nice. But just be smart. Be smart about it. Be smart traders. You break a structure here. You look good. You look good. ES is into that pool of liquidity, though. So like I said, ES is in the equivalent of our blue box right now. ES is already there. It's already there. We got 2 minutes left until a new 5-minute, 15-minute, and 30-minute bar. Right, 2 minutes left until that. Sorry, guys. So hungry. You can probably hear it. The same things apply. If it reclaims, you cannot be adding into this. You cannot be holding on if it reclaims. Flow zones are trying to turn, but these are big, important levels. QQQ just soaked off the VWAP, all right? The QQQ, the ETF, is like basically right here with ours, all right? So it got a bounce off that VWAP. SPY under VWAP, ES under VWAP. Do we form a new bear flag here to sell back down? Remember, ES has hit a big level there. It is into the equivalent of our blue box. It is into it already. This continues to reject VWAP and the PDL, then we have a chance to move lower. Bonds on an absolute ripper today. Most of the treasuries, even the short term and long terms, 2% or more up. Is this the 10? What's the 10-year? Is that the 2.68? 5-year, 2.68% up. 10-year, 2.38% up. 30-year, 1.8, and the 2-year, just under 2% up. That is not a good look for the market. Jeff, have a great day. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So still holding the bottom of that channel, still holding the anchored VWAP off the lows, right? Those bulls off the low of day, they're still comfortable right now. Right? That light blue line, that's their average price. So you have to make sure you're paying yourself here. Right? If too many shorts, some shorts will have attacked breakdowns here, right? Underneath this, they would have attacked that. And they're going to start to get squeezed. If we get this, we squeeze higher into this. Like I said, any reclaim, that will probably be it for me for the day. I'm not going to like just sit here and hope. We've had some really, really good trades today. All right. We called this long, which most of you took. I took this short, which most of you took with me. Some of you took this long, back through this. And then we waited. We didn't take this. We didn't take this. And then we attacked. Bang, bang, bang. The reason we didn't attack this short, even though you could have risked this, is for technically these lows created this high, and this was a sweep and turn inside. This could have very easily turned into a short squeeze. So we just had to make sure that they were all out of this, and then they were like, oh my God, this is going lower. And then we just joined that for the breakdown with them. All right, we just trade with them. Once one side's stuck, it's much easier. ES grabbing that bounce here. Right, I'm just going to show you what I mean on ES so you can all understand. ES is in the equivalent of the blue box. That blue box that we have on NQ, it's right here. We know this is demand. Look, push, pull, demand. Push, 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 trade back into demand, right? Which is why I'm saying you must cover here. If we get stuck here on the ES, might be another trade down, but this can quite easily hold and go upside. If it gets stuck under here, there's another trade down. SPY back to VWAP, ES trying to get back to VWAP. They're trying to back test those levels that they broke down from. Lots of news hitting the wire constantly here. Trying to catch up with it all. Fed Chair Powell, when asked if we'll commit to scrapping the flexible average inflation target, that's the question we'll be asking in our framework review. All right, that'd be for the next FOMC conference then. Feds won't block banks from serving legal crypto to customers, but will ensure proper risk assessment when banks engage in crypto activities. Doesn't really move Bitcoin from what I can see. The US presented Ukraine with the first draft of a natural resources agreement today. Inflation progress close but not complete. Today's data supports the stance Fed to keep policy restrictive for now. That's what we talked about at the beginning of the stream. Higher for longer, restrictive policy, no rate cuts. Not what Mr. Trump was trying to say this morning. No rate cuts yet because we are still sticky. So sellers on the book, right? You've got some small lots here, 687 and 700. Most the size, 700 is up at 750. There's a 100 lot up at 750. Alyssa, hello. Hello back to you. There you go. Here's the reclaim. ES coming back to VWAP here. SPY holding the VWAP. So you had to cover where we were talking about. You have to pay yourself. Understanding when to pay yourself and why. I don't think it's the case, but if it is the case that enough shorts are trapped down here and they really want to send it higher, which I don't really think, but if they really want to do this, above here, you still have gap fill potential and the CPI high. I find that unlikely, given that we had a hot print, right? But given that the market's weak, I really find that unlikely, but you just never know. Shorts have just proven over and over again the last 3 weeks that they love getting stuck in the hole. I trade Tradeify and Apex. Sorry, that's Alyssa asking in chat what funded accounts I have. Tradeify and Apex. Building my Apex 150Ks. Slowly but surely, they are all almost over the threshold, and at that point I will start linking everything together with Tradeify. So almost there. Some of them are over it. I forgot here. 7,000, 4,600, 4,100, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, 3,800, 3,700, 3,500 on the Apex. So they're almost there. Once they all get over 5K, I will trade them with Tradeify. No worries, Array. Have a good day. You should have all had some big wins today. Hit me with the W's in chat if you're nice and green today. Hopefully, most of you should have had some decent wins with me on stream. Let me know. It's always interesting to see. Hopefully, you all caught some. Yeah, should have been tons of you nice and green. A lot of you probably got off already, probably made your money and bugged out, and I don't blame you. Don't blame you for doing it. All right, so here's the reclaim. Trading from this side, trying to get up to the other side, trying to get up to the initial balance. If we get through the initial balance, it will try and close the gap, this yellow line and the previous day point of control. If it can get through that, it will try and get to the CPI and the previous day highs. If it gets through that, I'd say shorts are in big trouble for the psych move to 22K and a leg up. If shorts continue to get stuck in this market and are not smart in taking profits, they will get hammered. All right, because there's liquidity above, and the liquidity above is daily liquidity. All right, a trade through 888 can take us to 972. A trade through that will take us straight to the top of the Bollinger Band, 22,100. Everyone in chat, I love it. I'm just scrolling up, and you're all green. I love it. Andrew, Marek, Steve, Miguel, Alyssa, Christy, Michelle, Nick, Andrew G and BU, all nice and green. All nice and green. So I always say, if you want to learn more, if you want to understand how I see the market this way, if you want to be able to trade on your own without me being here, if you want a supportive community, if you want these flow zones right here, which will help you understand how and why the market's moving, just do the course. It's a one-time fee. All right, $649, 20-hour online course. Get the flow zones, get supportive people in the Discord, understand how the market moves and why. Very, very in-depth course. So back to lower time frame algo here. Key level. Does it reprice? Does it get above initial balance? Can we do this move? Dean Winchester. I'm long 150. Any advice? Oh well, why are you long there? What was the setup to take long? Just the break above that previous level. I mean, this can still be a bounce to come down. So I'd already have my stop break even, to be honest. And I'd be looking to see if you can trade up into that old previous day low. You have the top of the left shoulder would be like 56. And then into 58, if you can reclaim, I mean, there's supply, I'd say from 56.75 up to 64. It would need to reclaim that. But this can be a bounce to short to come back down on the ES. ES is the weaker of the two today, remember. This is for TradingView. I'm working on them on NinjaTrader right now. Right, so they're being worked on for NinjaTrader, but currently just for TradingView. But when you join the team, we do have some options for NinjaTrader to get it as close as possible to this. The only thing it won't do is signal currently. Trying to get that sorted though. I don't understand why it's so hard to get it sorted. Apparently C# is hard to code in for stuff like that, but I don't know. Beyond my pay grade. Yeah, so I'd be looking for a partial into this move towards 57 here if you are long in the ES there, Dean. And then a trade back into that IB high. If it can reclaim that and get through its 20-day, high days, 20-day and 5-day, if you can reclaim that, you would be looking for a move into, I think it's 75, low of day. So currently you rejected Tuesday's afternoon pullback. You would need to get through that higher day to get into 75, and you would need to get through that to get through for a gap fill. It's much, much weaker as a sector. Remember, financials and healthcare are not green today. So you're counter trend. You are most definitely counter trend in this. Doesn't mean it can't go higher. All I'm saying is like protect your profit. Because if they want to come and sell into that old supply, you've got a supply overhead, they will. Man, there's so much, like, I don't know what you call it, furu beef or whatever. Crazy. Crazy. Hey, Miguel, do you know what's awesome about what you just said? Look at what you just said. I'm done for the day, hesitated on some obvious move, and that's my trigger to get out while green. I love that you've worked out your triggers. All right, that's so important. You've worked out your trigger. If you're hesitating, that's telling you you need to get off the charts. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I care about that way more than the profit. That's really, really good trading. Well done, buddy. Well done. Knowing your triggers and your process, so key. For me, it's often like too many break-even trades and stuff like that can really start to chew up on me a bit. But ES is going for that PDL here and supply. This is a big level you're coming into, this block here. 57s up to 64s, I'd say, basically, on ES. Looking good. As long as you got your stop in, you look good right now. Hopefully it can just keep squeezing for you. If shorts don't learn their lesson, you're going to be good. So this level here, dance here, can do this. I'm surprised it's going to have the strength to do it, but these shorts seem to not learn their lesson ever in this market. It's kind of amusing, to be honest. It's kind of incredible that they can't learn. Remember, the biggest order on the book right now is at 750. It's 100 lot up at 750. Through that, you got a bit of room. There's like 40 lot at 800, but then there's another 100 lot 900 and another 100 lot 22k. Honestly, if it gets up there, shorts are going to be in so much pain. I can't explain it. Market right now feels like it wants to go for the gap fill and then the CPI wick high, which on the NQ will take you up to 21,850 if it can do it. You're into supply now on the ES, all right? You're into intraday supply. The supply that was made, right? ES is trading into this block. So ES has relative weakness. It's trading into this block. Right, so how it acts here on ES is key. If it starts failing, I'd be taking profits. If it can build liquidity and squeeze, you look good, Dean, for a hold higher. What a squeeze out. What a squeeze out. Back to IB highs here on the Qs. Blown accounts. You just need to start journaling them. All right. If you're saying you're always teetering between tilt and anger, you got to work out why. All right. You got to work out why. What are you doing? Are you oversizing? Are you under leveraged? Are you holding too long? Do you have a strategy? Are you sticking to that strategy? Yeah, Jared Tenler's book's very good for that stuff. Pull back to go higher. It's possible. It's possible it creates this to go higher. Like we said, this is excess so far, failed auction. We just sweat these guys. It would need to do something like this to go higher. These are always tricky when it starts acting like this. Remember, your time frame now, you're into lunch, right? This seems like the draw right now, here and here. But technically, it can still be a failed auction here. But we did the move, didn't we? We failed the auction down to here, and it found bids. So can it do this, I guess, is what I would ask. But just think about your time of day. The last hourly candle does look impressive. This last hourly candle looks impressive. Up, up. This is doing this. Can it get above these? I'd be very cautious. I wouldn't be long up here. Just a warning. Okay, tomorrow, I will be here tomorrow, but I've probably got to get off about 30 minutes earlier than normal. I have a meeting tomorrow, but I will do my best. I will do my best to stick around as long as possible. I have quite a big meeting tomorrow, so we'll have to get off a little bit early. So this is the question now. Is this the pullback to create that inverse right shoulder? Or do we continue to rotate? So far, it's starting to feel like longs might try and take control here, but your positioning is not ideal here. Remember, we are so far have been rejecting this guy here. Yeah, we've been rejecting these guys. These are buyers that are trapped in the market trying to get out break even. Every time we come up, we're not closing through them. If we can create a right shoulder and use these guys to go higher, it's possible. Biggest problem you have is you are into lunchtime, or you're there or thereabouts. Does Apex have consistency rules in the evals? No, they do not. No rules in the evals at all, other than the trading drawdown. Art Bow, taking my first payout from Top Step today. 5 days of minimum 200. Fantastic. Good work. Just keep it up. Remember, take the payout. Make sure you don't trade that account until they've like cleared it and paid you. You'll be absolutely devastated if you do something stupid. Take that money, run with it. Nice work, Dean. Dean, you look good. It's forming this right shoulder now. You're looking good. So hopefully, if you've got a runner, hopefully it goes for you. Nice capped. Green day for me, but missed those great trades earlier due to work. Hey, that's right. We've all got to do something else. Even I've got to go to do a proper job tomorrow. Well, it's a meeting, but going to get in the way of my trading, but it's okay. Great work, everyone. And thank you for helping me grow the stream. All right, really, really appreciate it. This stream this year is really starting to grow. I know we're nowhere near some of the big influencers, but I do feel that it gives some like good edge and help in this stream, and the more we do that slowly as a community, we will grow with like-minded, nice people who are looking to learn and trade and support each other. That's all I want in this stream. Just want like-minded, good people, and we will grow. We leave that drama to the other people who have been making themselves very well known right now. I will say, I do appreciate Pat's honesty and respect him. I think he gets a hard time, but he's just a character on stream. I actually like Pat quite a lot. And I also like that he calls out people when they come digging for him and they're complete frauds. I think they need calling out. So fair play to him in what's going on. But I don't get involved in any of it. We keep our noses clean and we focus on the price. Every time you're distracted from looking at anything else, you're going to not be focused on price, right? Doesn't matter what someone else is making. Doesn't matter what setup someone else is taking. Even me. You've got to know your setup, confident in it, and execute it. That's all you got to do trading. All you have to do. Plus, I'm getting old, right? Hit the big 4-0 this year. Might not look it. You're all going to tell me I look young, hopefully. I get old this year, so I haven't got time for that stuff. I've not got time for that stuff. I'm an old man. There's going to be people on stream who are older than me. I know people on stream older than me, and they're going to tell me off for saying I'm an old man. Just like Capped. So it's trying to build out this right shoulder liquidity. All right, so you've got just over 8 minutes until lunch. I know. Lots of you older than me, but you know what it's like. You hit that big psychological number this year. I'm just like, my wife keeps asking me, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" I'm reluctant to organise anything, to be quite honest. Looks good. This right shoulder wants to go for that little explosion higher here. Yes, into that IV high. Liquidity on the tape, remember, 750. All right, there's 100 lot up there. August. I don't think I'm going to do Vegas. I would like to book somewhere, a house somewhere. Obviously, a lot of my friends live in Europe, so asking them to come out here is tough. But maybe if I book somewhere, I can convince some of them to come out. I got friends, fortunately, a lot of my friends are sort of based all over the world. I've got friends in Dubai, live there permanently, Singapore, Lots of them back in London, some on the East Coast here. So trying to get everyone together is tough. Yes, trying to go and attack those stops up there. It's trying to go and attack. It's still underneath its IB high. Remember, this is a squeeze up. It's the name of the game in this rotating market. All right, it's who's trapped, and here's your squeeze. There we go. It's going to attack all those stops now. So it's just run everyone. ES is doing the same. Dean Winchester, you look good here. It's very, very impressive. That last pullback candle that held the previous day low, that pullback into 57, is very, very good for that move upside. So these flags here are starting to hold. If it can start to do this, it's going to try and fill the gap and trade into here. This is where it wants to go. Whether it can do it over lunch or not, I don't know. This is the drawn liquidity. This guy for the gap fill, and this guy up here, it's hard to see, CPI high, right? This is where it wants to go. So TP1, oh, let's just get rid of these. Set. If you're in this long, if you're taking this flag, right, you're looking for TP1, TP2, TP3, and runners above that through previous day high. Shorts are absolutely cooked. I'm really, I'm going to have to be honest, I'm very, very impressed that this market is able to respond like this right now. And it's just because shorts got trapped again down here. Remember, we were covering into this. I was saying you cannot attack it down here. And they got trapped again. So liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. It's the same. You notice how I draw the same things out over and over again. This liquidity, this liquidity, this liquidity. Base here, drive higher, aim for this. It's the same thing over and over and over again. Once you start to see it, it will get easier and easier and easier. Could have even used like a trend line like that if you wanted. Make things easy for yourself. Yeah, 750 filled. Some small lots here, like 20 and 30 lots, and then there's a little bit more up at 800. This is in a full squeeze mode right now. It's just going to keep going until it's run out of steam. Trump is talking right now. Discussed Ukraine and Middle East energy, artificial intelligence, and the dollar with Putin. Confirms call with Putin Wednesday morning. So that's what he was discussing. Sorry, just said it there. I had a lengthy and highly productive call with Putin. Just so you know, because I've had some people say, don't tell me he's doing this with Putin, blah, 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 blah. When I read stuff out, I'm directly quoting the news. It is not my opinion on it, okay? I had a lengthy and highly productive call with Putin. This is what Trump is saying this morning. This is all in the last 5 minutes. Powell saying it's not clear that the government layoffs are material for the labour market. Lots of speakers here. US House Speaker. House Republicans are committed in enacting Trump's full agenda, including his tax cut objectives. There's lots of different things hitting the wire at once here. Putin and I agreed they want to stop deaths in Russia and the Ukraine war. Putin and I have agreed to visit each other and each other's nations, and I will call Ukraine Zelensky. This is all in the last, 30 seconds, guys. So he's talking about the war here. Putin and I have agreed to have respective teams start negotiations immediately. So I'm guessing he's calling for, or Trump's kind of trying to say that the war, he thinks he will be able to end the war, is effectively what he's saying between Putin and Zelensky. So he's saying he's had good talks with Putin. He plans on having those talks with Zelensky and then having their respective teams to negotiate terms. And now he's just put this all into a tweet. I can read it out for you if you want. This is from Donald Trump. I just had a lengthy and highly productive phone call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. We discussed Ukraine, the Middle East, energy, artificial intelligence, and the power of the dollar, and various other subjects. We both reflected on the great history of our nations and the fact that we fought so successfully together in World War II, remembering that Russia lost tens of millions of people and we likewise lost so many. We talked about the strengths of respective nations, the great benefits that will someday have in working together. But first, we both agreed we want to stop the millions of deaths taking place in the war with Russia and the Ukraine. President Putin even used a very strong campaign motto of common sense. We both believe in it very strongly. We agreed to work together very closely, including visiting each other's nations. We have also agreed to have our respective teams start negotiating immediately, and we will begin by calling President Zelensky of the Ukraine to inform him of the conversation. Something which I will be doing right now. I've asked Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director of the CIA John Ratcliffe, National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, and Ambassador and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to lead the negotiations, which I feel strongly will be successful. Millions of people, so you can see, millions of people have died in a war that would not have happened if I were president, but it did happen, so I must end it. No more lives should be lost. I want to thank President Putin for his time and his effort with the respect to his call, and for the release yesterday of Mark Fogel, a wonderful man that I personally greeted last night at the White House. I believe this effort will lead to a successful conclusion, hopefully soon. So there you go. I'm just reading what is being said, whether you agree with it or not. I'm only reading you the news, to be clear on that. So continuation of a squeeze up here. Like I said, like blown account, I'm not giving an opinion on this. I'm just reading the news so you can understand these are moves probably based on news algos thinking the war is done. I don't disagree with you. Like, Zelensky hasn't said he agrees with any of this, but this is the gap fill. So they used this news to fill the gap, like we just said. If we can get, while I was talking about this, we went all the way for the gap fill. Yellow line is the gap fill. Exactly, Miguel. PDC got tapped. We're into a new hourly candle on lunch. This is previous day point of control and gap fill right here. This is where volume is. Through here, we go CPI. Through that, we go previous day high, and then we take out all the stops higher. All right. So they are using the news event. They are using Trump talking to drive this market higher. All right. Remember, the market is forward looking. It doesn't care on your opinion or my opinion. It just prices it in forward looking on what it thinks might happen. That's all it does. Doesn't care on what's right or wrong or what we think. All right, so we have to leave our emotions in check. Yeah, totally blown account. I just have to remind people, because I've had people email me saying what I read out is disgusting and stuff. It's like, I'm just reading the news. I'm quoting the news. I'm quoting macro drivers. All right, it's not a formed opinion that I have. I am unbiased when I'm trading. Unfortunately, when you're trading, this is how you have to be. I talked about this, I think, at the back end of last year. Once we knew Trump was getting in, I was saying, if you are okay with making money from things that you might not agree in, you probably want to think about getting long the Russian market. Doesn't mean I agree with it. I'm just saying that's where the money looks like it will flow in from America right now, whether you agree with it or not. All right, our job as traders is to follow the money, like we followed it here. We followed it to here. We followed it to here. We followed it to here, and we followed it to here. If you took that news and you thought we were going to pump, you followed it to here. Right? They are using news as macro drivers, whether you agree with it or not. What you must not do is have a strong opinion against it and force yourself to take a trade because you hate what's being said. That is the worst thing to do. Market doesn't care. Market does not care. The market only cares about doing one thing, inflicting max damage. And max damage right now is being inflicted on shorts. On the shorts. They got stuck here and stuck here and stuck here. We closed the gap. Now we want to get all the way up here. Right? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm trying to make people understand. That's it. Yulimar, pass my 70k eval on Apex. Thank you, Alex. You are welcome. Great work. You don't need to thank me. You have to pull the trigger. You have to manage your own risk. You've done that all yourself. So back to previous day point of control here, right? This is where all the volume was created. We are into a form of supply here without a shadow of a doubt. If it can continue higher, it will want the data highs, the CPI highs. Big if, and we're now into lunch. All right, so we're into lunch now. I'm going to call it a day there, team. All right, I think we had a decent day together. Some of you might still be in this long. Dean Winchester looking very, very good here. Cleared out that highs. Hopefully you're paying yourself a bit of money. We are just having a little look around. NQ or QQQ has just got back above the 5-day. ES is above the 20-day, trading up towards the 5-day. So we're into some key levels here. It can keep drifting higher. Just remember, every move higher has been a squeeze. Has been a squeeze. Has been a squeeze. Don't get caught buying high. Right? Do not get caught buying high in this session. I will be back tomorrow. All right, Thursday. We're just going to do the same thing all over again. Right? Same boring stuff. We're going to do it all over again tomorrow. We're going to make some money and we're going to hop off the charts. We're going to wait, be snipers in the market, and we're going to hop off the charts. All right? And I will see you then. I'm going to leave you with this just to let you know where the liquidity is in the market. Remember, we've just filled the gap. Right? ES has not filled the gap yet, but it's not too far away. Liquidity on the tape, right? There's an 80 lot at 800. Then you've got a little bit of like frothiness, and then you get a 50 lot at 825, and another 50 lot at 850, and then a 100 lot at 900, and a 130 lot all the way at 22,000. Right? If it can get there, it will get there. How? By shorts blowing up. That's how it gets there. We move up by shorts blowing up. We move down by longs blowing up. All right, peace and love, everyone. Be kind to each other. Be humble. All right, be kind. Don't be greedy in the market. Be sensible. Don't be trying to attack this market, trying to get it to go higher, buying the highs. You're asking for problems when you do that. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. Use hard stops. Like I just said, Trump's talking. Powell's talking. You've got other chairmen talking. I think Bowman might be talking later today. News algos are definitely turned on. All right. They will be sensitive over tariffs. They will be sensitive over any sort of aspect of war. They will be forward-looking and they will price in quickly if anything drastic is said. So you must use hard stops. All right. Peace and love. See you tomorrow. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe button. See you soon.